Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. I'm out here going over some of my propane appliances that I have here for camping, hunting, ice fishing, emergencies, that kind of stuff. About once a year, I like going over these appliances, make sure they're working and everything's good to go with them. Some of them don't get used as much as the others, but I still try to get these guys out in the field and use them at least once a year. Um, the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about is my Coleman grill stove back there that I got sitting on the wood stove. That guy's about 13, 14 years old. I've used it quite a bit. It's been all over the state of Michigan camping and whatnot. I like that stove for one particular reason. It's got that grill on it, which has that long burner. So I have a regular burner for like a coffee pot or a pot of beans, but then I have that long burner that I can put a griddle on. So if I got a cast iron griddle, I got a one of those aluminum square griddles, I can set that on there, and then I can do stuff like make tortillas or make pancakes, whatever. It just gives it a lot more versatility than if that was just a burner and I'd set a pan on it. It keeps much better heat with that long burner on there. With that grill top. So that's why I like that guy there. Another thing that I got here is an old Mr. Heater cooker. And that is this guy right here. And you can light this guy, and you can set it up just like this on this wire frame, and it can throw heat for an area, like if you're in a deer blind or something like that, or working in a garage. But it also has it where you can tip it up, and you can set it up just like this, and then you can use this for a cooking device. And I'm here to tell you that those work really good for cooking. In fact, that guy there, he cooked potatoes when we were up north camping this year like a champ. Another thing that has become insanely popular over the years are these portable buddy heaters. These portable buddy heaters have really taken off in popularity the last 3 or 4 years. This is a new one here that I just purchased recently, and I have another one that I've had for probably 4 years already. And that guy's actually pulling duty out at my camp right now, so he's not here. But as you can see, all of these appliances here can take these 1 pound bottles of propane. But with a couple of attachments, like this hose right here, you can run these off 20-pound grill tanks. And everybody should have some of these hoses around where you can use these on the 20-pound grill tanks. Now, there is an exception with this Mr. Buddy heater. This Mr. Buddy heater has to be run with a filter if you're running it with a 20-pound tank. And that's because sometimes those 20-pound tanks will have stuff in them, and they could plug up these mechanisms in these buddy heaters. Now, that's not the case so much with the Coleman stoves and those old Mr. Buddy heater, or those old Mr. Heater cookers, but for these guys right here, you need one of these filters. And I suggest you keep a spare one of these filters around if you have one of these Mr. Buddy portable buddy heaters, because I have plugged these up already. I have had to replace these. It's just one of those things. So keep one of these around. These are still pretty reasonable. These are about $10, $11 around here by me locally. Now, as far as the hoses go, you should have a couple hoses. You should have a shorter one, like maybe 5, 6 feet, and then you should have at least one longer one that's 10 or 12 feet. And the reason for that is sometimes where you're running your heater or your cooker, you don't want the tank there, you don't want to be tripping over it or whatever, so you want to have that away from where you're working a little bit. So it'd be nice to have a longer hose. So that's something that I also recommend that people have is a couple of hoses for these appliances. Another thing, if you're going to run these appliances and you're going to have 20-pound grill tanks and you're going to have these little 1-pounders laying around, you should get yourself one of these refilling knuckles. And what this refilling knuckle does is it allows you to put fuel back into these 1-pound tanks. Now, there's some nuances with that. The 1-pound tanks, in my experiences, will never fill up as full as what they are when they were new. The best you can get them from my experience is about 70%, and that means if you're refilling those tanks, if that Mr. Buddy heater lasts 6 hours on On a full brand new tank, it's probably only going to last 4 or so with a refilled tank. Now these knuckles go into a 20-pounder. You turn the 20-pounder upside down like on a workbench or something. You screw on that 1-pounder and then you turn the valve on. You'll hear the gas go into it. When you stop hearing the gas, you shut it off and turn it off. Sometimes those 1-pound tanks won't take any gas. I haven't never been able to figure out why, but some of them will take gas and some of them won't. So what I do is if I got one that doesn't take gas, I'll just discard that one, and I only keep these 1-pounders around that are able to accept gas for the next time around. Another thing that I do is I keep these little plastic deals off the top of those 1-pound cylinders. And the reason I do that is if I use a couple of these 1-pound cylinders and I empty them, I won't put a cap on. That way when I look at them, I know those have to be refilled, and if I do refill them, I save these and I put the caps back on. That way I always know that those 1-pound cylinders are full. Another thing is lighting these guys. Something like this is excellent for lighting these appliances. Now the buddy heater's got an igniter in there, but it can still be lit with a regular manual lighter like this right here. The Coleman stove and the old Mr. Heater Cooker, that guy right there, he has to be lit with a regular lighter. But these Bics with these little tails on here, these are very nice for lighting these appliances so you don't burn all the hair off your knuckles. And so I like keeping some of these around. And also, most of these appliances in a pinch can even be lit with a ferro rod. Just get the sparks close enough to it and turn the gas on low, and you can light different appliances like this with a ferro rod as well. One other thing I want to mention on these buddy heaters, now if you only got one of these, you might want to keep this in mind too. You see that little silver mechanism at the bottom of the burner there? That is actually a one-piece unit. That's actually the igniter, the thermocoupler, the pilot light. All of that is in a one-piece unit. Now that can be replaced if that happens to go bad on there. Now I've got 2 heaters now, so I actually don't have that replacement part. They're kind of expensive. They're right around $20 here, maybe a little bit more locally. So I actually don't keep a spare one of those around just yet, unless I would find a deal on one. But I just wanted to mention all this stuff to you guys here, just some different things when it comes to these propane appliances that I've kind of experienced over the years here. Wanted to share with you guys. Another thing too, if you're using one of these buddy heaters outside where it's on the ground or something, there's a chance that sand or dirt can sometimes contaminate the bottom of this and cause this burner to kick off on you. And if that happens, this is what I did. I disconnected all my gas and everything, and I turned the heater upside down, shook it a little bit to get that sand and stuff out. And then I took a small brush and brushed the bottom of that out, and that actually took care of the problem. And I didn't have those issues anymore. But if you're using these Mr. Buddy heaters outside where dirt can get kicked into them, or a little bit of sand or something can get into them, that might happen, and that might save you, chucking the heater and buying a new one or something. But anyway, just wanted to mention that stuff to you guys. Just kind of learn here from my experience. I've used this stuff for a while, so I know a little bit kind of how it goes. Oh, one other thing, the back of this buddy heater here is actually got an attachment where you can put 2 screws in a wall if they are nice and secure, like into a stud, where you can actually hang one of these buddy heaters up on a wall so then you can get it up off the ground. That's another nice thing to know too. Not everybody knows that with these buddy heaters, but just wanted to touch base on these things with you guys. I know I done a video a couple years back where I talked about these buddy heaters, but I wanted to kind of bring everybody up to date here and talk about some of these other propane appliances as well. But anyway, this is Modern Refugee. Appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys got a little information, a little entertainment out of this video. Just add all this here from my experience to your guys' information. But anyway, you guys have a good one.